Hello everyone, the coal you are seeing right now is formed millions of years ago after the burial of plants and animals, and a coal is a type of sedimentary rocks. So students, myself Himanshu Dhupia, and today we are going to talk about the sedimentary rocks, formation, classification, textures and many. We will talk about sedimentary rocks in detail that can help you in your examinations where geography is a dominant subject. It's like UPSC, SSC, PSC examinations. Okay, so in earlier videos we talked about the igneous rocks, and today we will talk about the types of sedimentary rocks like clastic, chemical, organic. We will talk in detail. So if we go into a recap, so we are continuing the series of rocks. Basically, in first video I talked about the igneous rocks, okay, intrusive and extrusive. In this video we will talk about clastic, chemical and organic, and in the upcoming video we will talk about foliated, non-foliated, means metamorphic and metamorphism. It's very important for your examination point of view, so you make sure you subscribe the channel for this latest updates. Whenever I will upload the video, you will get the first notification. Alright, so if I talk about a brief igneous rocks which I have covered in the previous lectures. So there are two types of igneous rocks. One is intrusive, second is extrusive. Intrusive rocks are formed from the magma. Magma means the molten rock that is inside the earth, and lava. Extrusive rocks are formed from lava that is coming, the magma is coming out and then it is solidified, then rhyolite, andesite and basalt is formed. Granite, diorite and gabbro, it is formed inside the earth. That's what we have to remember. Okay, so I have covered already this, and the igneous rocks, this YouTube link we will put in the description box. Okay, so I welcome you all at Universal Group of Institutions. Okay, so our admissions are open for 25-26 session, and we are offering PUC, BCom, BSc, BA, BA LLB and MA Political Science along with the competitive examination preparations, like in POC, CLAT, CSET and CUET. In BCom, IAS, IP and KS. This year we have started CA, and in BSc and BA, IAS, IPS and KPS, KX coachings will be conducted along with the academics. So you make sure you register yourself at universalinstitutions.com, and if you put referral code HIM007, you can get an interesting discount also. Okay, so what are sedimentary rocks? So sedimentary rocks are unique in their formation process, unlike igneous rocks. Igneous rocks were formed when the magma was coming out and instantly it was solidified. Okay, then the igneous rocks were formed. But sedimentary rocks are formed due to deposition, compaction and cementation of sediment. What is the sediment? Sediment is a small rock debris. So basically, if igneous rock is weathered, eroded, then it will be traveling, weathering, then erosion, then transportation, the deposition. When the deposition will happen, compaction will happen. So this is a deposition, this is compaction, and this is cementation. Cementation means, what is cement? Generally we use cement for our construction purpose. So cement means like we are binding something together. So all these rocks are igneous rocks. Primary rocks are when they bind together and make a new type of rock, that is called sedimentary rocks. We have to remember. And as the more cementation will take place, more layering will happen. So it is a characteristic, this is a unique feature of sedimentary rock. What is it? Layering. Layering is a unique feature of sedimentary rocks. So igneous rocks are formed from cooling and solidification of magma, and metamorphic rocks that we are going to conduct in next session, that will be formed by the transformation of sedimentary igneous rock. Means igneous rocks and sedimentary rocks, if they undergo like enormous pressure and heat, then it will change into the metamorphic rocks, and that process is called metamorphism. Okay, so if I talk about that, how exactly sedimentary rocks form, in sedimentary rocks formation, many key several process involves. The first one is weathering. As you can see in the diagram, that this is a big rock, and due to some region can be anything. It can be air also, it can be water also, it can be biological, like microorganisms or plants, roots, anything can happen. Or we can say the freezing thaw method. Freezing thaw means if the water is there inside this particular rock, and if it is frozen here, it will contract and expand. So region can be anything, we will talk about regions. So this particular rock has been disintegrated, it is called weathering process due to many erosional processes. So this is an igneous rock. Now if this particular rock is disintegrated and change into something else, some different type of rocks, that is called sedimentary. So weathering is a process of the formation of sedimentary rocks. Second is, we can say like weathering are two types. If we talk about weathering, mechanical means temperature and pressure changes break rocks without changing mineral composition. Okay, so suppose this was a full rock, actually this was a full rock, okay, but now due to air, pressure, temperature, what happened? This particular rock was in the middle, was a soft rock, so it got eroded. So new type of those, like where did this particular rock went? This changed into some small sediments, and that sediments will be going somewhere and deposit, that is called sedimentation. Okay, and if the rocks are weathered by chemical process, you know, like chemicals, acids, then it will change in something else. So there are two types of weathering, chemical as well as mechanical, and these two weathering process helps in the sedimentation, ultimately in the formation of sedimentary rocks. Okay, so this is what is happening, students, that this is a rock, it contains quartz, biotite, feldspar. Okay, now due to chemical weathering, this is an example we are taking, due to chemical weathering, this particular rocks get weakened and it is getting like flour, it's like a, you know, because of the weathering, because of the chemical process, what is happening? This particular rock is getting weathered. Weathered means it is getting disintegrated into small particles, and ultimately it will be here. So these are called sediments. Just compare these two photos, students. This one is first, this is second. So it was a hard rock and now it has been changed into the sedimentation, like small particles, and ultimately it will be cementation. It will cement and make the new one. Okay. Second example can be like, if I talk about the weathering breaks down, like how weathering breaks down rocks into smaller pieces. So the first example is freezing and thawing method. Means what happens, if there is a rock, if this particular rock is in the low temperature areas, this particular water will freeze, and in morning when it will freeze, don't you think the density of the solid is more, right? Water can go anywhere, but the ice cannot go. So this particular crack, it will get starting bigger. Can you see the arrows here? It means this crack will starting to bigger. Again in morning it will change into water, again in night it will become ice. Ultimately this process will continue, it will disintegrate the rocks. So this particular method is called freezing and thawing method, you have to remember. Second example of weathering rocks is of salt. So as you can see here, this particular phenomenon, this particular rock formation is due to the salt, because salt degrades the soil, that's why. So tell me, this was a full rock, what happened to this particular areas, like what happened to these? Where these rocks went? These rocks change into sediments. Okay. Third example is thermal stress. So thermal stress ekdam very simple, that this is a type of granite, and in the daylight, because of insolation it will expand, and in night temperature is low, it will contract. So expansion contraction will result into the cracks, and these cracks will ultimately, what happened? Cracks will be having this layering, and ultimately these will be down, this is called sediments again. Okay, so basically we are talking about how sediments are forming from the igneous rocks, and ultimately only these sediments will change into rocks itself. Okay, fourth example we can take, see action of plants. Can you see the action of plants here? We have a big root and it is holding this rock together. This is a rock, this is a plant root basically, and this plant root is holding these rocks like this. And don't you think this rock was a big rock? All this 1, 2, 3. These rocks were one earlier, but now due to this biological process, what happened? This rock has been disintegrated. Okay. Now second type is erosion. So first weathering happened. Weathering means a big rock is there. Suppose a big rock is there, and when its particles, its particles are coming down, that is called weathering. Okay. Now this particle, when it is got weathered, this particle did not fly anywhere else. It was here only. Second process is erosion. Erosion means things are getting eroded, like going from one place to another place. That is called erosion. So as you can see here, that this is the example of a river erosion, water erosion. As you can see, this is the example of the sea waves erosion. Sea waves are hitting the beaches, and see the soil is gone. Third can be air, wind erosion. This is due to the wind erosion. Okay, so all these are the types of erosion process. This one is our avalanches or mountainous erosions. Okay, so this is the second formation process. Third is transportation. Now what happened? Weathering happened, erosion happened. Okay, now those particles will be transported by something. So like as you can see in the desert area, winds are working like a phenomenon of transportation. Here again winds are there. So transportation can be done by wind also, by human beings, by animals, by river water, glaciers. All these are the transportation. Okay, so transportation includes like whatever the weather rocks were there. Transportation, if so, generally what happens that erosion and transportation are not that much different also. Generally we consider them the similar way. So transportation and erosion is not having that much difference. So we can conclude them into one only. But thing is that just see this particular example, that it is a water surface, and so this particular is sliding, rolling. So this is not a type of erosion. Already erosion happened. So this particular rock came from somewhere. Weathering happened, it changed into something small. Now it came into the ocean. That is called erosion. Now the transportation will happen. So in the transportation process, there are some terminologies like saltation, sliding, rolling, abrasions. All these are the transportation terminology you have to remember. Transportation means this particular rock is getting transported due to the water. It is sliding, it is rolling due to the movement of water, due to the movement of winds. All these are example of transportation. Okay. The fourth one is deposition. Now when the rocks are getting transported from one place to another place, somewhere it might be depositing also, right? So take the example of waterfall. This is the example of your waterfall formation. So what happened? This was a rock. Okay, now the water was flowing. So slowly this particular area will get weakened down, and finally these particles, these sediments will come down. So what happened here? First of all, weathering happened. First weathering happened, then erosion happened, erosion or transportation, and then what happened? Deposition happened. Okay, this is how the waterfall also falls, and this is the nature. It happens, weathering, erosion, deposition. Okay, so deposition is what? Settling of particles in new locations. Okay, earlier the particle was here, now the particle is here, the new place. Okay, and the last one is, okay, this is the particle settling down, but what if those particles become compact? Means they becomes more squeezed together. And have you ever done that? If you have prepared cottage cheese at your home, then we squeeze, the water comes out. Exactly same is here also. When we are squeezing, when the particles are squeezing together due to the lot of heat and pressure and everything, so what happened? Compaction happened. If more squeezing takes place, like all the water comes out, that is called cementation. It will harden the sediments. So these are the 5 processes in the formation of sedimentary rocks. You have to remember, and you have to remember these 2 terminology also: lithification or diagenesis. Okay. So this is a type of deposition only. Okay. Now if we talk about the common examples of sedimentary rocks, so I would say that first example would be the sandstone. Okay, so sandstone generally forms from cemented sand-sized particles. You will often found sandstone in deserts or beach environments. So we will find such type of rocks in where? In deserts or beach areas. That's why generally we see it looks like a beach only, but in reality it's a desert. So sandstone you will find in the deserts and beaches. Second example is shale. So shale is made up from compacted clay. When the clay is getting compacted, shales are formed. Shales are generally fine grained. It's very fine. Fine means the grains are of two types: coarse and fine. So coarse grain, the grains, the texture of that will be bigger, crystals will be bigger, and fine will be means very fine, very minute particles. Okay, and actually shale is so fragile, we can say, because generally there is an example of sedimentary rocks. So these are porous also, not that much hard also. So we can literally split into thin layers. See the map of this particular, see easily, this is the example of shale only. Okay, so we can easily see the layers forming here. Can you see the layers? This is the main characteristic of our sedimentary rocks. Okay. Third is limestone, very popular and very widely used stone. So this particular rock is considered calcite. And what is calcite? Calcite means skeletal fragments of marine organisms. Marine organisms like coral reefs, seahorses, fishes. So when they're dead, basically, so their skeletons, because of their skeletons, these type of limestones are formed. Okay, examples are in front of you. Okay, second is conglomerate. So this consists of round gravel sized clasts. So these are called clasts, beta. Okay, all these are the clasts that is cemented together. All these are clasts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Lot of clasts are there. When they clasts cemented together, indicating a high energy environment like a fast flowing river. It looks like that these are formed in a fast flowing river. Okay, example is this also. This is also the example of conglomerate. This rounded gravel size class cemented together. Can you see this rock particularly? You can zoom and see that like lot of clasts are coming together. Okay. Next is chert. Okay, so this particular chert or chert, whatever the pronunciation can be anything, this is particularly made up of microcrystalline quartz, often occurring as nodules in limestone. So this is limestone. So if in this limestone some nodules are present, that will be called as chert only, and these are made up of microcrystalline quartz. Okay. Next is coal. Initially I told you this is a organic sedimentary. Organic means like it is made up from plants, actually plant debris in a swampy environment. So whenever a log is there, suppose that this is a plant that is died, now the second plant will be dead, so it will go on, so it will keep on going, it will keep on going. Now imagine the situation, imagine the condition of this particular first layer. Don't you think lot of pressure will be there, lot of temperature will be there, and there will be no any moisture will be pushed out from that particular environment, then the coal will be formed. Okay. Next is our gypsum. So gypsum is a soft mineral rock from the evaporation of seawater. When seawater is getting evaporated, so whatever the minerals remained in the backside, from those minerals gypsum is being formed. See, it's so beautiful rock it is. So this is formed by the evaporation of seawater. Next is dolostone. Dolostone is similar to limestone. It is similar, but it contains mineral dolomite. Simple. You have to if you want to remember dolostone, just remember that dolostone is a limestone type. It's similar to limestone, but if you are mixing dolomite in a limestone, then dolostone is formed. And next is siltstone. So it is related to shale, but slightly coarser grain. In shell there was finer grains, means grains was very small, minute particles, but this particular rock is made up with the coarser grain, that is the difference between shale and siltstone. Okay. So, I hope this lecture was beneficial to you. If you find this beneficial, give a thumbs up, share and subscribe the channel for more such updates. Thank you so much and see you in the next one. Make sure you subscribe it. Yeah.